It's World Food Day, and joining us here to talk about it is In Focus Health correspondent Linord Moudou.
Thank you, Vincent. Well, World Food Day is an annual observance sponsored by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization to promote worldwide awareness of the problem of global hunger. Food shortages are prompting calls for alternative ways to grow crops. Among these is biofarming, a technique that uses animal waste products to produce energy and fertilizer. Voice of America's Pete Heinlein filed this report from a biofarm in Addis Ababa.
You eat it.
Giant kale, spectacular spinach, beautiful beef, medicinal plants, fabulous flowers, and all at prices most African families can afford. A dream? Well, it is a dream Ethiopian agroecologist Getachew Tikubet had a few years back. And after a lot of trial and error, he has an elaborate, holistic plan. It starts with cow dung. Yummy.
This Jersey breed produces 11 kilograms of dung and about 10 liters of urine per day.
Getachew says that dung and urine can provide all the fertilizer and energy needs for a family of 8 if the family puts them in a container called a biogas digester.
Within the digester, anaerobic fermentation takes place. As a result of that anaerobic fermentation, methane gas is produced. And this is one of the things that fascinates the farmers. They just can't believe this. Dung urine being changed to this kind of flame.
But cooking gas is not the half of it. Getachew has shown 25,000 Ethiopian farmers how they can use the fertilizer from the biogas digester to produce enough food to feed themselves and have enough left over to take to market. Farmers immediately see that all the components are right at their fingertips, most of them at no cost.
We have people, we have livestock, we have plants, we have the soil, we have insects, and we have various organisms and the solar energy as a component. You want to open it?
By combining Western technology with local traditions, Getachew has persuaded not only Ethiopia, but the African Union, several American universities, and donors such as the World Bank that his idea works by making farmers self-sufficient.
So it starts from the soil, plants grow, and their produce some go to the market, some goes to the system, and then the animals take the feed, and the milk, meat again goes to the market. Their excreta goes back to the system. So by doing this, we complete the cycle.
The cycle begins again with a new generation. Getachew is planting seeds in farmers of the future at a school he operates at the biofarm. Children as young as 5 years old learn not just lessons from books, but the concept of saving the land that they and their children will inherit. Peter Heinlein, VOA News at the biofarm in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Well, how about that? Earlier this week, I spoke to Nick Mino, a senior research fellow with the International Food Policy Research Institute. I asked him about the state of the global food crisis. This is what he had to say.
The global food crisis has a number of causes. Higher oil prices, we have growing demand in China and India and other countries. We have the subsidies on ethanol, which have diverted maize and oilseeds into the fuel market and away from the food market. And we also had some shortages, such as the drought in Australia. The main effect, I think, is through oil and the biofuels policy. And then exacerbated by the fact that some exporting countries restricted exports, like Vietnam and India and the Ukraine and Argentina. And this caused a spike in the prices. The prices of maize and wheat and rice all doubled or tripled, sometimes even quadrupled, between early 2007 and early 2008. There has been a response by the international community and by governments to the crisis. Farmers have responded by producing more. That's one of the reasons prices have come down. Governments have responded by focusing more attention on agriculture. and the international organizations such as the World Bank and USAID have come up with new programs to refocus attention on agriculture, which has been neglected over the last 10 or 15 years. Prices have come down somewhat, but they're still much higher than they were historically. I think the objective of World Food Day is to have an annual occasion which directs attention to the problem of food production, distribution, and consumption in the world. Well, in sub-Saharan Africa, problems are similar to other parts of the world, but in some places perhaps even more adverse. I think one problem is that farmers use very low levels of fertilizer, and therefore the yields are very low. They do not have access to improved seed. They're often reusing seed from the previous year. In addition, the low population density in Africa means that farmers are often very spread out. They may be quite far from the nearest road, from the nearest marketplace, or from the nearest place to buy agricultural inputs, for example. And so, although these problems exist in many countries, they're even more severe in Africa. In the long run, the solution is just greater investment in agriculture, and in particular, greater investment in agriculture research and development. In the shorter term, I think there's a need to revisit biofuels policy and to reconsider whether, for example, 1/3 of U.S. corn acreage is now devoted to ethanol production. My hope is that the financial crisis will not cause the U.S. and Europe and the World Bank and other international organizations to divert attention from the problem of growing food and making sure that people have enough food for a healthy and satisfying life.
Well, it's all about food. So, Linord, what is this year's theme for World Food Day?
Well, this year, the FAO has been focusing on, climate change. The theme is World Food Security, the challenges of climate change and bioenergy. As you know, climate change affects everyone on the planet. But of course, the poorest regions are the most affected because of lack of resources.
Well, hope they'll do something more about that. For more information on these stories, go to voanews.com.